something is not right with the direction the country is headed in now. I think I know what it is, and it revolves around some of these czars. Well, now there's something else that has been bothering me for a while, and lo and behold, we've got a new czar. Radio is under attack by the Federal Communications Commission. I've told you before, pay no attention to the fairness doctrine, it's not going to happen. But this man is the FCC's new Chief Diversity Officer. When I say new Chief Diversity Officer, I didn't know if they had an old one. His name is Mark Lloyd. He wants private broadcasters to pay licensing fees, listen to this, licensing fees equal to their total operating costs. And if they're a conservative radio station, they could receive a crippling $250 million fine. All that money will be used to fund public broadcasters like NPR, who are competitors of these private broadcasters. The man trying to silence free speech in America in Washington is Seton Motley. He's the Director of Communications at the Media Research Center. Seton, tell me a little bit about, what is his name, our new czar, Lloyd.
Mark Lloyd. He is a former senior fellow at the George Soros-funded, John Podesta-run Center for American Progress. Many people will remember John Podesta from the Bill Clinton days. He was also the chief Obama transition team czar, so to speak. Mark Lloyd, as a senior fellow there, co-wrote a paper in June of 2007 entitled "The Structural Imbalance of Political Talk Radio." Now, first of all, this report is flawed because they completely excluded public radio from their survey.
Of course they did. That's just fair.
That's just fair. And because he's looking at it from a market saturation standpoint, and as you know, in many large cities, with a number, like Los Angeles, for example, has at least 3 public broadcasting stations on the radio. They get more than 100% market share, but that doesn't count as market domination. It's only for private ownership. But this report is frightening in how it wants to enforce the localism and media diversity rules of the FCC, which are very nebulous as they're written, and therefore up to the enforcement interpretation of whoever's doing the enforcing. And now this guy, Mark Lloyd, is doing the enforcing. And,
okay. How long, but first of all, who was our last diversity, what is it?
Chief Diversity Officer.
Who was the last one at FCC?
That's an interesting question. I have a friend who's been working there for years, and that person doesn't recall this position ever existing before.
Huh, that's interesting.
Which means this may be a new czar in and of itself.
Okay, so we have this guy. He wants to force private broadcasters to fund public broadcasters dollar for dollar. So, if I understand this right, help me out, he is saying whatever the gross operating budget is for every private radio station, every year they will have to pay a fee equal to that to get their license for a year.
To get their license from the FCC, and of course, that money goes to fund stations with whom they then have to compete.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. What company in America can take 100% of their operating budget and pay it as a tax and survive?
And then say, okay, now let's start doing business. It's impossible. It's literally impossible.
Impossible.
It's literally impossible.
I want to take a break, and I'm going to come back. There's more to this, America. There is much more to this. Radio under attack. Next. America, I am here to announce the birth of a new czar, this one at the FCC. Back again is Seton Motley of the Media Research Center. Seton, there is a part here that this cannot be right. Lloyd suggests fining conservative radio stations up to $250 million and giving the proceeds to the government-subsidized Corporation of Public Broadcasting. That cannot be right.
That's not exactly right. Well, that's an estimated total of what the operating costs are for somebody like Premier Broadcasting, who syndicates several large talk show hosts, Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity among them. That's just an extrapolation of the fine we've been discussing, which is dollar for dollar for their annual operating costs.
Okay.
So just to be clear,
okay, so it's not a fine if you're a conservative radio station.
He has laid out a roadmap for liberal activists to attack conservative conservative and Christian talk stations, however.
Okay.
You said forget the fairness doctrine. A month after his report came out, he wrote an essay called "Forget the Fairness Doctrine," in which he lays out a way for liberal activists to use the FCC by threatening their licenses if they don't. If they're politically opposed to what they're saying on the air.
It's all localism. I said this
and media diversity. And media diversity.
Yeah, they're going to take it. They'll take those licenses. They'll keep everybody afraid to put anything on the air. If they do put something on the air, somebody can challenge it. They can take that license away from them at the end of the year and give it to some acorn-like group or some minority group, and then you've lost that radio station. Voices like Seton.
It's Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae for the radio industry is what it is.
First of all, how long before you think this could come to fruition? He's there. He doesn't have to be confirmed or anything. He's there. It's happening.
He started work on July 29th, unless I'm mistaken. Yes, he stands waiting to take their calls. However, there's a Supreme Court decision in the 90s called the Adirondack decision, which said you couldn't set aside contracts for minority business owners. And now that's being looked at as applicable to setting aside licenses for minority broadcast stations. So he's going to have to go into research mode to overcome the Supreme Court bar that's been set against doing this strictly based on racial decisions. So he's got a little bit of work to do.
Okay.
But believe me, don't think he's not working on it.
Oh no, I mean they'll get this done. Broadcasters like me. I mean, if you take, Rush makes $1 bajillion a year. Premier would have to step to the plate and say, okay, you pay Rush $1 bajillion a year, and you pay the federal government that same $1 bajillion. With my salary, then it's like $1 bajillion and $10. And so then they would have to do that. That would wipe these people out. There's no way they could ever do it. So what happens?
It's an assault on the radio industry to affect an ideological outcome.
What happens to free speech in America?
That's irrelevant to these people.
Is this guy? Do you know anything about this guy? Is he a socialist, Marxist? What is his? I tell you what. I'm being told we are out of time. May I have you back? I'd like to cover this when we come back. I'm going on vacation next week. The week after, I'm going to show America what is coming, and I'd like you to do some more research and have you back. Is that possible?
I'd love it. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much, America. Don't miss it. I'm going to be back a week from Monday. Don't miss it. Please tell all of your friends. Join us the week I return for the whole week. Please don't miss it. Back in a second.